Welcome back to episode 3 of the Story Seeker podcast. I am feeling quite excited and content to be back with you today. I took basically a week off, not intentionally, I just did it. I just didn't record a podcast. And I definitely want to get back to it. Right now I'm in a weird environment, so I'm just going to address the elephant in the room right away. Currently, I am in an Airbnb in Vancouver. I am on a family vacation. We are staying in Vancouver for a few days. We just flew out here earlier today, and I got about 3 hours of sleep last night, so it's also now almost 9 p.m., and I've been up for a while, so I'm pretty tired, but I'm at a good amount of tired right now where I feel like it's just, I don't know, I'm feeling good. We'll see. I might be snoozing by the end of the episode. All right. So after a couple of days in Vancouver, we're going on an Alaskan cruise, and that should be really fun. And I'm going to hopefully film some cool stuff there. Just fun footage and actually some stuff for a project that I'm going to talk about later in this episode. Yeah, so there's a bunch of different topics I want to touch on. I have some more bullets on my phone, as usual. So let's get into them. First one is, I'm not exactly sure. I kind of might want to make a new YouTube channel for this podcast. I've been putting them on my main channel because I kind of wanted them to perform well. And that was one of my goals, was to make a podcast that performs well. But now that I'm 2-3 episodes in, I'm thinking, you know what, I feel like that's gonna interrupt me from just making them. My perfectionism of, oh, this isn't gonna perform, or I can't talk about this, or I have to rush to get to this part, I have to make it all super engaging, kind of takes away from the conversation, takes away from the authenticity of it and all that stuff. So I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I'll just make a new channel for it. The people, honestly, it feels okay, the reason why I want to continue this podcast is not to perform well, it's not to blow up or anything like that. And there are things I do to try to perform well. It just, the podcast is not one of those things. That is my thinking right now. I feel like I'm making no sense. And so, I'm making it for myself, to use it as a journal, to improve my communication skills, and also for the handful of people who are avid listeners, watchers, I guess. There's a few of you guys who have reached out to me and said you've listened to the podcast, and who clearly, you guys, the handful of you have really resonated with some of my ideas and the things that I've said. I feel like I said that in a weird, sort of cocky way, but I really just mean to say, I'm doing it for myself first and foremost, and the few people that really care and really are connected to it, and I really appreciate you guys. And I feel like those of you will stick around whether I move it to a different channel or not. But the people who are watching the podcast because they came from my filmmaking content probably won't like it that much, and most of them won't like it that much. And so it feels kind of pointless to just put it on that channel, just to get extra views. Because again, that's just not why I'm doing this. I'm running in circles again. I'm gonna get better at this, I promise. All right. Also, that kind of just gets into what the hell am I doing with my YouTube channel in general? Because I haven't posted in a while, and I'm kind of not sure. I don't really have, I have some stuff in the books, but it's larger film kind of projects that are gonna take a couple months, a month at the least. So I'm not gonna be posting for the foreseeable future, at least based on what I have in the pipeline right now. And I don't really know what I want to do with my YouTube channel. I don't know. I had a lot of initial success with film number 1 performing really well, and the next video after that, the mixed media transition tutorial, that also did really well. And then after that, it's been kind of downhill in terms of performance, and just haven't been able to decide whether I'm doing it for, whether I want to have my YouTube channel for fun or just do it to try to grow and like grow the business and all that stuff. All the stuff I talked about last episode. And so I don't even know. I'm focusing more currently on Instagram, and I'm going to get into that. Before I get deeper into sort of the rabbit hole that I was just going down, I want to talk a little bit. I don't want to talk at all. I just want to ask you guys. Someone suggested that I make a Discord server for fans of the channel, I guess. And I've never made a Discord server before. I've been in a lot of Discord servers. Let me know if you're interested in that, or if you think like there'd be anything cool we could do with that. Honestly, I have no idea what that would look like. So if you have any ideas, let me know. That's it for that. Next topic. I made a short form video where I basically, the script was something like, actually it was from my last podcast episode. It was a clip from my last podcast episode that I edited into kind of like a high production value, sort of engaging short form video. And it was about like me being like, am I wasting people's time with my content? And like I want to make something that people will remember and not just scroll past and forget about it in 10 seconds, that whole thing. And I posted that on YouTube and Instagram, and some lights just turned on. That was cool. This place we're staying at is very cool, by the way. Anyways, Deepler confirms from behind the camera. He is shooting some behind the scenes. That's my brother. He takes photos and videos too. Surprise, he's also here. He will not be talking though, into a microphone at least. So anyways, I got some comments on that YouTube video that was like, yeah, you actually are, because I posed the question at the beginning. The first line was like, am I just wasting people's time with the stuff that I make or whatever? And some people were like, yes, you are. You are wasting my time. And honestly, I was like, at first I was like, okay, like that sucks. Hate comments are never fun. But then I ended up actually taking something good out of it, which was that I feel like those comments actually give me the permission to make whatever the hell I want. Because I'm like, it'll make sense in a second. Like, everyone has different preferences on what they like to watch. Some people, it seems like, loved that video that I made. Those people hated it and felt like it was a waste of time and didn't understand it, obviously. And so like, there's no such thing as good or bad, art, content, whatever. Like I'm trying to make, like I'm over here saying like, I need to make stuff that's meaningful. I need to make stuff that's gonna like stay in people's heads, like it actually matters to them, all this stuff. And in reality, like some people don't care about that. Some people just want, like everyone has different preferences. Some people like watching artistic social media videos. Probably most people don't. And like, that's fine. So if I want to make the artistic videos, if I want to make videos that I think are making a difference, like people actually benefit from watching them and remember them afterwards, and like something that I said in it like sticks with them, great. And like I'm gonna keep doing those types of videos, and I'm also gonna keep doing the content videos that are fun for me to make and that do the numbers and that perform well and all that stuff, just because I want to do it. Like, it doesn't really matter. There's an audience for no matter what type of content I want to make, whether it's the art, whether it's the content, like whatever it is. There is an audience that likes that, as long as I'm putting the effort into it. And so just like make something. Anyways, another just complete rambling. Eventually I will be able to formulate my thoughts better. The other thing is that this summer, I kind of had the idea of like, in a few months ago, in maybe April, I had my first like big tutorial video that just pop off. It has now over 180,000 views. It got me like, I think a couple thousand followers on Instagram, which I don't have that many followers on Instagram in total. That was like half of my following. Way better than any other video I've posted there. And immediately the next thought after that is like, let me just mass produce a ton of this content. And then it was the whole like, oh, but like I want to make something that's meaningful. I don't want to waste people's time, whatever. But I did have that thinking of like, it's summertime, like I may as well make 2 of these videos a week, and then like I can do the artistic stuff on top of that. But like, let me just grind and put out tutorials that like hopefully will perform well, like this one did. And I haven't done that at all. And I feel like it's again and again, I come back to the concept of perfectionism, and it's different forms of perfectionism, and you could probably call it different things. But I just come back to like me overthinking the stuff that I'm making, and like I didn't post anything for a long time, and I wasn't making tutorials, and I wasn't making the artistic content because I was just trying to figure out what the hell I was making in general. Like I was just, this episode is unhinged. But like I was paralyzed, paralysis by analysis. It was that, like, I just didn't know what to make, and so I made nothing. And I feel like it's so much better to just make something, and later on I can worry about, is this exactly what I want to be doing? Like, how can I do this in a way that feels more meaningful to me than just a tutorial? Like, but I may as well just make the tutorials and just like grind, make a bunch of these videos. They're helping people out. They're helping me out as well. And like, see what happens. And at least I'm making something. But I'm so caught up in like, I need to make something important. My next video needs to be like powerful. And then I just don't make anything. So I posted a tutorial a few days ago, like a second one, and just tried to make a thing, something that would perform well. I tried to make like a good hook for it, and I think it worked. It's currently been performing really well. As of right now, it's been about 3 days since I posted it, and I'm gonna pull up some of the little stats. It has gained me around 550 followers. It has 64,000 views, almost 5,000 likes, and an insane number of almost 4,200 saves. That like to save ratio is insane, by the way. But I don't mean to say this to flex. I'm just like, literally I've made like I made this one tutorial, and 3 months later I just made a second one, and like both of them have done so well. And I think the new one that I make, probably it's gonna outperform the first one and do even better. And it's like, dude, I've made 2 of these videos pretty much, and like they've done this well. Why am I not doing more of this? Like, just from a business perspective, just from a I enjoy doing this perspective, like, why not do that? And like I basically do this work for other people as well. Like, some of my freelance work, I work with someone who makes this type of sort of tutorial, gear review kind of content on Instagram. And I spend an hour pretty much every day editing one of his videos. And it does make me think, like, why don't I just put that time into my own stuff? I'm not even saying stopping what I'm doing with him, but just like, in addition, put that time into making my own stuff. And like, who knows where that could take me? Like, I don't know. I'm just at the point where it's just like, fuck it. Let me just make the videos, and like, I can worry about I can worry about all the specifics of it when I've made, 50 of them and it's been a year. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of just sick of myself overthinking. Yeah, so that turned out to be a little bit of a rant. I also think this is a really bad episode, but again, I don't know. Like, if I'm doing it for myself primarily, then it shouldn't matter how good the final product is. And it does seem like some of you do stick around to hear my raw ramblings and get something out of that, which is a bonus on top of it. I want to give a little tease to a new project I'm working on that I was talking about before. I'm going to do some filming for it while I'm on the cruise and on vacation here. Not sure how much exactly to reveal about this. It's a documentary, sort of coming of age. It's about me. It's about essentially the month before I move in to college, the month before I leave for college. And it's going to be, saying bye to family, saying bye to friends, talking about how I'm feeling going into it, all that stuff. And it's going to be wrapped up in the sort of sentimental story that I will not reveal yet because I don't want to spoil it. I've shot not that much yet. I talked to a few of my friends in a car and did a little makeshift interview. I'll probably use a little bit of stuff from that. I'm gonna, like I said, on my vacation, I'm gonna film stuff with family, and I had some good conversations with my grandma earlier, and maybe I should record a little interview conversation with her as well. We'll see. I feel like I'm not teasing enough of this to make anyone really interested in it, but I am really excited about it, and I think it will be really cool. Again, it's going to take some time. It's going to be obviously after I move in to school and settle down a little bit that I'm going to finish editing it all together and get it up on the YouTube channel, but I'm really excited. And honestly, let me just talk about college. I don't know why I didn't, that should be like, I want that to be a major topic of this conversation because it's a major topic of my life right now. So earlier this week before I left, again, I left today, but earlier this week I had, wow, that was a crazy voice crack. Earlier this week I had my new student orientation at my college. I'm going to Rutgers University. I don't know if I've ever said that. I probably have in one of my past episodes. I think I wore Rutgers merch in one of them. And the last one I think it was. So I'm going to Rutgers for film. They have a very small, intimate program. I will also be in the honors college there, and that's hopefully really cool. Honestly, I could make a whole episode about college now that I think about it. So I'll kind of go into a little bit about my journey with how I picked the school, and then I'll get to like orientation and then how I'm feeling and stuff like that. So, chapter 1, picking Rutgers. So if you know the college admissions process, like college decision day or whatever it's called is May 1st. Yeah, I think it's May 1st. So like you have to commit to whatever school you're going to and put a deposit down by May 1st for pretty much all of them. And so I had been visiting schools for like a year and a half, 2 years before I had to make that decision. all around the Northeast United States. And I had applied to Rutgers just as like a backup, safety, like state school, whatever. Like I don't think I'm going there, but just like may as well. Totally an afterthought. And then it was literally on April 1st, I think, or April 3rd or something like that, that I visited Rutgers for the first time, which is crazy because it's closer than any other school that I applied to. But I visited for the first time because I just hadn't considered even looking at it. But then I think I had gotten a scholarship there. And so I was like, you know what, like let's look at it. And it turned out to just be the best option. Like I applied to a bunch of other much more expensive private schools that, are better schools in terms of, like just academics and whatnot. And there were kind of serious flaws with almost all of them in my mind. And also just like the money is a part of it for sure. Like, especially being in the film industry where your degree matters almost none. It feels kind of ridiculous to spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on a college degree. And yeah, I mean, it's just really not about the degree. Also, honestly, this wasn't about why I picked Rutgers I wanted to talk about. I just want to talk about like the fact that I was considering not going to school at all into April, close to when I had to make a decision. Over the past bunch of years, I've done some research and heard some people talk and, online, listen to podcasts and stuff like that, and heard about some of the drawbacks of college / like just the fact that it's not the end all be all of life that everyone must do. And I agree with that statement currently. And so I always had it in my head of like, college isn't a necessity. Like it's not a guarantee. It's not like I have to go. It's like, we'll see, And I think it's a pretty uncommon belief. Most people are just like, they know they're going to school. They just assume they're going to school because that's what their parents did, and that's what you do when you're trying to get a job of quality in this country. And yeah, I never really had that view. And then as I've been doing freelance work throughout high school and building on that, and this year really leveling up, especially into like March, April, May, that time, I don't know, I had this self-belief that if I just didn't go to school and just started freelancing full-time as soon as I graduated, that I would be able to support myself pretty quickly and make a living doing that. And some of that, and I think a lot of that, is grounded in fact and grounded in the numbers and grounded in my past performance, if you will, in terms of the work that I've been doing and the money that I've been making. And there is also a level of self-belief that doesn't necessarily come from a place that's easy to name. Not that there isn't a reason behind it somewhere. But yeah, whatever. The point is, I considered not going to school, just freelancing, and I still have total faith that that would have been fine. And I honestly, my decision essentially came down to the decision-making framework that I've used a lot recently with big decisions, which is, which decision am I least likely to regret? Which choice am I least likely to regret? Even if I did the freelancing route, didn't go to school, made a living right off the bat, life is great, I would still always wonder what it would have been like to go to school, to go to college, not even for the classes, but just for the experience of doing that. And so that alone was just like, even if I go to school and I waste money and I waste time and whatever, like, at least I've experienced it enough to say it's not for me. But if I don't do that and I just go straight to the workforce, then I'm gonna always have that thought in the back of my head of like, what would it have been like if I went to school? Would I have really enjoyed that? Like, whatever. It's really not from a financial standpoint as much as it is just a general life and social standpoint, I think, mostly. And even just like being able to study things that are outside of film. And like, obviously there's the whole connections thing. Anyways. So that was deciding, that was chapter 1. That's the end of chapter 1. Next up is new student orientation. So I had it earlier this week, and it was a lot of fun. I came into it pretty nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, like the way my orientation worked, we stayed at the dorms for a night and basically had like a day and a half, 2 days there. And I met a bunch of cool people who I'm going to be seeing again for the next 4 years as long as I don't drop out. That was the other thing is like, again, if I hate it after a year, I can be done with it and then go to the freelancing path or whatever path. And like, I'm lucky enough to be in the position where that's fine. And it doesn't have to work out the first way that I do it. Anyways, back to orientation. I met cool people, people in the arts program, people in the film program, and people in the honors college. And it was a lot of fun. Like, it was the people part of it that made it fun, not the events at orientation itself, which were pretty boring. But yeah, it made me excited, honestly, for next month when I go to school and get to live with everyone and live on campus, and just that'll be my life every day for 9 months or whatever it is. And yeah, it both excited me and took a good amount of my nerves away, or eased my nerves a little bit of like, this experience of going to orientation was, before going to orientation, my perception of what college would be like was based on, my experience at sleepaway camps and what I've heard other people say about it and what I've seen on TikTok and all that stuff. But now I've experienced for, 1 day, pretty much the closest thing to what it'll actually be like, and just being like, okay, like, it went fine. I had a good time. I made some friends as much as you can in 1 day, and I enjoyed it. And like, there's no reason to believe really that it won't be like that when I go for real. So yeah, definitely glad that happened. And then the next thing, I guess I kind of touched on it, but is just how I'm feeling in general about college. And I'm definitely going to go into it in the film that I'm making. But it's a lot of excitement, honestly. Like, there's always the nerves, and there's definitely also, there's the nerves and there's the feeling of like, is this all it's cracked up to be? Is it all that I'm expecting? Like, I have high expectations in some ways. But yeah, it's a lot more of the excitement and a lot less of the nerves and, what if it isn't what I thought it was and stuff like that, which is really good. I am happy with the place that I picked. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else that I wrote down. I think there is. All right. Two last quick things, and then I'll be done here. Back to my music tastes again. Another random tidbit. For some reason, I really like songs that are about sad things, that have sad lyrics, but sound really upbeat. Like Hey Ya by Outkast is, I feel like, a good example of that. And also Bummerland by AJR. I won't play those for you because you can go find them on your own. And I feel like it would be awkward to put it in, and kind of want it to be more raw. So yeah, you can listen to them on your own, but those are like the two examples I could think of just like super upbeat sounding songs, like, dance to it, like, just, I don't know, just like, they sound like they should be happy songs, but they're really actually sad. Again, I don't know why, but I just think it's cool. Something that maybe isn't as easily done in film. Maybe you could say something like where you have a really externally bright and colorful and, world like that, like Barbie. I haven't watched Barbie, but let's pretend that Barbie, I feel like it's on track of like bright colors, looks like, it's like kid's toy, except there's actually meaning to it, and there's actually like, it's actually an impactful film from what I've heard. So I don't even know how I started talking about Barbie. Oh, the songs. Yeah, the film equivalent. So Barbie is the film equivalent of those kinds of songs. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't watched it. All right, last thing. I don't know when the next episode is going to come out because I'm going to be on the cruise and not have internet service for a week starting in a couple of days. So it's going to be over a week, unless I record one tomorrow or the next day or something, but which I might do. We'll see. However, I did, for episode 3, I tried to schedule a guest who I'm excited about. Honestly, I'll just tell you, if you've gotten this far in the podcast, you deserve to know who it is. It's Jake Felzien. I don't know how many of you will know him, but he is one of my friends, internet friends, who is a video editor. He has kind of an interesting story. He has a full-time job and does this on the side. And so I thought we could have a really interesting conversation sort of about the art versus content debate and the art and money kind of thing, because we both have these different situations of like this being my primary focus versus for him it's, obviously it's not a full-time job for me, but like it's kind of my primary focus versus for him, he has a full-time job himself and he's a bit older and has a kid, and so you get some different perspectives. But I think the interesting thing is, from talking to him a little bit, we've come to similar conclusions about this stuff. Yeah, I feel like I'm like just hammering home the art versus content thing, but anyways, because of just like scheduling issues, we haven't been able to record our conversation yet, but hopefully we will after I get done with the cruise, and we'll be able to get that uploaded within 2 weeks, hopefully. And yeah, maybe, I guess if I record another podcast before I go on the cruise, I'll probably just like upload it for like a week after this one goes out or something. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely frustrated with how I feel like my talking comes out unclear and stuff like that, but it's hard when it's just my stream of consciousness and like this is what thoughts sound like, at least in my head. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense, sometimes I circle around to the same thing like 5 times in a row, and sometimes I think about similar topics for many days in a row. Like this is how we think, but it's not necessarily how we try to present. And I don't know, it's like, how do I present my thoughts in an orderly way? Or how much does that even matter? I don't know. It is frustrating because I can tell that it's like, with some refinement, they could be presented in so much of a better way. But that's not really what I'm trying to accomplish, or at least I want to be doing that live. Like I want to be refining my thoughts live and presenting them better live, which I think is a skill you can develop. I don't think I've gotten any better at it yet. Maybe I'm just more comfortable blabbing to the camera, but I don't think I'm any better at organizing my thoughts and presenting them in a clear way. But the hope is maybe, 50 episodes in, 100 episodes in, there'll be a noticeable difference at that point. This is episode 3. I mean, like, how much can I expect at this point? Oh, there's a bird flying around. I don't know if you could see that. You probably could a bit. All right, this shot is probably really underexposed. I like overexposed it at the beginning because I knew it was going to get underexposed by the end. There's the bird again. I think it might be a swallow. I'm not sure. I like identifying. Honestly, it looks kind of like a bat. It's hard to tell. I like identifying plants and animals. But anyways, you probably can't even see me at this point, or the bird, so. I'm gonna go to sleep. It is 9:26. However, I woke up at 4:45 a.m. and again, got about 3 hours of sleep. And that is also this time zone. And we gained 3 hours, so really it's like 12:26 for me. So anyways, comment your thoughts. I have loved seeing your comments a lot. There were a lot of insightful and lengthy and meaningful comments on the first 2 podcasts, and I so very much appreciate that, like really do. And I love reading them. So yeah, if you have a couple minutes, I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've gotten this far. As always, I love you for reaching this point of the podcast. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Good night, guys. Oh wow, that is really dark. Oh, you could not see anything. Damn, sorry guys.